Hello and welcome to Attention Central Texas. I'm Angela Galbraith, your host. And today we have with us Misty Biddick.
Yes.
How are you today?
Good, how are you?
I'm wonderful. And you are with AWARE, in all caps, AWARE Central Texas.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, tell us a little bit about your organization. You're the executive director.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell us about your organization.
So AWARE Central Texas has actually been in the area for 31 years.
31 years.
Yes. We started out as Bell County Family Outreach. It was a volunteer program through CPS. So in 2006, that funding was taken away by the legislature, but then we stood up as AWARE Central Texas. And so we offer services to 4 counties here in the local area: Bell, Coryell, Milam, and Lampasas. And we offer a wide variety of programming. We serve victims of domestic violence, sexual assault, and human trafficking, as well as child abuse.
Wow.
Yes. We offer parent education classes free of charge in the community, as well as an in-home visiting program that works with families that may be struggling a little bit with parenting, that might be at risk for neglect and abuse, or there has been abuse identified in the home. So we get in there and work with the families so we can stop that from happening again.
Oh, wow. So what stood out to me is, sexual abuse and all that, human trafficking.
Yes.
Wow, that's a lot.
It is a lot.
Oh my goodness, is there, how bad of a problem is that here in Central Texas?
It is prevalent here in Central Texas. We are kind of in the middle of what's considered the Texas Triangle, from Dallas to Houston to San Antonio. We have a large military installation here, which is kind of a city within a city, so it makes us unique. It is a problem. It's a problem that's not often discussed. And it's really a problem we're learning more about every day, because this is a crime that happens in secrecy. Just like domestic violence, sexual assault, and other kind of abuse, this type of violence thrives in silence. And the less we talk about it, the more that it's allowed to go on.
Oh wow, silence is really the danger.
Yes, it is.
And getting people to open up, and trust is the biggest factor, I suppose.
Absolutely. These are hard topics. These are things that we don't want to think about are going on in our own backyard. But until we talk about it and talk openly about it and learn how to identify these issues and what we can do to help stop it, it's going to continue.
Wow, that's a big umbrella of things that you all serve.
Yes.
The human trafficking just floored me. It really did. Sexual abuse and assault. And so you service the entire family?
Yes, we do. We were lucky this year with the help of a VOCA grant to be able to add a full-time counselor.
Great.
So counseling then is provided free of charge, as well as advocacy services. So as they go through the court process, they have somebody that's there with them explaining what the process is, and maybe even just sitting in the courtroom with them. Because a lot of times, especially with domestic violence, we see families that are kind of split apart. One of the things that we see that perpetrators do to victims of family violence is to isolate them from their family, loved ones, and friends. And so by the time that they may decide to leave, there may not be very many people there with them. So we try to add that support in there to help them transition onto a new life. Oh,
wow. So at what point do you step in as an organization?
So there's different times when we may step in. We do operate a 24/7 hotline.
Okay.
So we may have someone call into the hotline that's seen our information and seen the number and decided they want to seek help. We work very closely with local law enforcement agencies, so we may receive a referral from a law enforcement agency. And then we also work with local hospitals. So if an individual goes into the emergency room needing medical attention, they will call us and we're able to go in and work with them right then and there at the beginning of the trauma.
Okay, so what kind of programs do you all offer?
Oh goodness.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yes,
that's a good thing. If it's overwhelming, if it's a lot, that's a good thing.
And we really try to be comprehensive about the programming that we offer, because we want to make sure we're meeting all of our clients' needs. We can offer assistance with seeking protective orders. Instead of having them obtain an attorney, they can go in and obtain the protective order on their own through the court.
Oh, okay.
Which is very empowering for a victim of violence, to be able to go in and stand up to their perpetrator and go and do that on their own. We offer assistance with food, clothing, emergency lodging, transportation to and from court appointments, or interviews with law enforcement, or maybe even medical appointments. But also that community education piece, where we're working with parents to learn how to maybe, make parenting a little bit easier. Because as you and I know, or most parents know, it's difficult being a parent. it's hard.
Yes.
And you need people to stand alongside
Mm-hmm.
you. And we want to stand alongside parents before something gets out of control.
Okay, so what type of projects are you currently working on?
Well, this is like the best time of the year with Christmas
Mm-hmm.
because we do partner with Killeen Police Department as well as the Killeen Heights Rotary Club for our Blue Holiday program.
Blue Holiday.
Yes, Blue Holiday. Last year we served over 350 kids in our community.
Wow. In the Central Texas community?
Right here in Killeen.
Oh, wow.
Right here in Killeen.
Okay.
We also assist CPS workers who may have a placement after they've received gifts or other necessities from their partnership programs in Austin. And so if a kiddo is placed with a family after that cutoff point, we'll come in and make sure that they have Christmas in that home too. But we also provide winter jackets, food boxes for Christmas, and toys. We try to make sure that we get at least one toy that's on their wish list.
Oh, wow, awesome. And
Yeah.
so, wow, I have a family member who works for CPS, and it seems like her job is never done. I mean, when she finishes one case, she's got 2 or 3 waiting for her.
Yes.
And it's just, I don't see how, it's just good that you all can deal with this. And it's just flooring to me to know that that problem is this big in the Central Texas area.
It is this big. And it is this big nationwide. And I think that we've really seen an uptick in the number of
Uptick.
in the clients we're seeing since the beginning of COVID,
COVID,
too.
yeah.
You know, people don't realize that when kiddos went from going to school to virtual learning, they may be in the home with the perpetrator full time
Yes.
without a trusted adult at school to be able to talk to. And we also see victims of domestic violence in the home with the perpetrator without the ability to be able to reach out and get some help. With that, you see more law enforcement involvement. So if things get out of hand, a neighbor hears, then they're calling law enforcement. So we've definitely seen an increase in cases.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
And so we were talking earlier about volunteering. Is volunteering opportunities are available?
But yes, absolutely. We have training that's available if you would like to come in and work on our hotline.
Okay, so you have to go through a training. That's good.
Yes, and you have to do a criminal background check.
That's good too.
Yes, we want to make sure that the individuals that we have around our clients have been thoroughly vetted, and we know what's in their background because we want to keep our clients safe.
Of course.
But there's many volunteer opportunities, anything from doing admin work to working on hotline to maybe even just going into the courtroom and sitting with a client that needs some support while they're obtaining a protective order.
How difficult is it for victims of domestic abuse to come forward?
I think that even today, and we're over 40 years into this movement of domestic violence and advocacy, it's still a crime that thrives in silence. It's still a crime that occurs in the home, and people are very wary of getting involved in other people's homes. And it's a difficult topic to talk about, especially when you talk about a loved one that is utilizing physical violence against someone they say they love. And I think that's really still difficult for people to discuss.
Wow. And the children, I imagine it's difficult for the younger children to process what's going on or to even convey to others what's going on. How do you handle that with smaller kids at least?
You know,
Well, probably for smaller and the larger ones,
Right.
older ones.
what we see is that intergenerational cycle of violence.
Intergenerational.
And so we see kiddos that are witnessing mom or maybe grandma or dad or grandpa, because domestic violence isn't just limited to women. It happens to men as well. They see that as a normal part of relationships, and they carry that onto their relationships later on in life if someone doesn't intervene. And by intervening or an intervention, getting some help, getting some counseling, understanding what a healthy relationship looks like, and understanding that violence is never the right way to convey feelings or to interact with your loved one.
I'm going to ask you something that may be a little hard. What if you suspect someone of being abused sexually, even physically, and they're not ready? I mean, what do you do at that point? You know, you can pretty much, that they're being abused, but
Sure.
they're not ready to come forward.
I think that's another time where we have to do some really hard things and we have to have some really hard conversations. And sometimes you just say, you may not be ready to talk about this now, but I see some things that are really concerning to me, and I'm here if you need me. Because one of the things that happens many times is that friends and family of domestic violence victims, they move away from them. They don't understand that isolation, where they're left with no one to turn to. And we always want to make sure that these individuals know they have someone to turn to.
And so that's just the best thing. If they're not ready, I'm here.
I'm here when
whenever
you're ready.
you're ready. What about women as the abusers or the perpetrators?
We're learning more about that because, you know, historically men didn't report. You know, we raise men in a society where it's, you know, they can't be abused, or you're a man up.
Yeah, man up.
We even talk to our little boys and call them little man, and we don't allow them to be children. And so it's really we have to move away from socializing our boys to think that they can't be sensitive or they can't be vulnerable, and getting them to be open to talking about it and removing that stigma of abuse. And so we're really learning more about that dynamic in a relationship where a female utilizes violence against a male.
Wow. It's horrible all the way around.
It is.
On a lighter note, tell me about your 2021 goals real quick.
Our 2021 goals. One of our goals is to reach out and to serve more counties in the Central Texas area. You know, some of the more rural counties, it's more difficult for them to seek services. And transportation is such an issue in this area. So we want to make sure that we can get out to some of those rural areas and that they know that there are services available. And just moving forward, just making sure that we are meeting the needs of clients in the community. And one of the things that we're really focusing on for 2021 is advisory panels and having individuals from the community inform what our programming is. I can make decisions about what I think programming should be, but I need to hear from the community.
What the best thing, what's going on in the area. Well, you do an awesome work in Aware, Central Texas, and where are you located here in the area?
We are located in Belton at 903 North Main Street, as well as here in Colleen at 2408 South Clear Creek.
And if someone needs help, they can just walk in?
Yes, they can walk in, or they can call our 24/7 hotline at 254-813-0968.
And if you suspect someone needs help, we can call the 24-hour hotline.
Yes, and we will definitely direct you to where you need to call.
Okay, Misty, that's a lot, and
Yes.
it's a lot to take in, and particularly this time of year, but abuse goes on all times of year. So I want to thank you for your work and for your organization's work, and I want to thank you, our viewing audience. Tune in next time to see what's going on right here in our local area. Be blessed.